So let's take a look at the second part of our content for Creative Commons and copyright. The issues that we talked about earlier apply to more than just books and music and movies. They also apply to software. Now, software is licensed in two broad categories. On one hand, you have restricted software. This is similar to copyrighted work, only it's usually a lot more restrictive. You don't You might think that you purchase software, but you don't purchase software. You license software for a restricted type of use. You have no rights to modify the software or distribute it after you've licensed it. So that's on one hand. On the other hand, we have open source software, and this allows for redistribution, often with attribution on who created it in the first place. And there's usually no restrictions on modifying the software. And in fact, this is actively encouraged. That's how it develops. So some examples of commercial software or restricted software would be things like Microsoft Windows, the Adobe Creative Suite, most video games, and programs like iTunes. These programs are created by programmers that work for a company, and most of the time, consumers do not have access to the source code that the programmers use to write that software in the first place. So they don't really have, as a consumer, you don't really have any rights to modify or use that software in a way that was not approved by the company that licensed it to you. Open source software includes programs such as the Linux operating system, the Apache web server, MySQL database, WordPress, and the GNU image manipulation program, or GIMP for short, which is just a funny name. I love that one. All these programs are widely used and evolve rapidly to meet consumer needs. And this is largely due to the fact that consumers have access to the source code and can contribute fixes and improvements if they have programming skills. Most of the internet, including the big guys like Google and Amazon and a lot of the other large sites, use these very same programs. Now, we're going to be working with a lot of these in this class. And by the time you get through this class and maybe some others, you'll have the skills to be able to contribute back to some of these programs if there happens to be something there that you want to add or change. So there are obviously advantages and disadvantages to using copyright with digital media, but what about this open source method? And this is where Creative Commons comes in. In 2001, a nonprofit organization was founded to organize the concepts of open source for media. It promotes the sharing of creative works and lays out a legal framework for artists to promote their works and to just determine how they can be used. Creative Commons has become crucial to the growth and the vitality of the internet. Now, I want you to familiarize yourself with Creative Commons by going to their website. It's linked in Blackboard and also on the slide on screen right now. And they have a lot of descriptions, very well written, and you can get a lot of the details on how this works on their website. I also want to point out a couple sites that you can go to that give you links to sites that have search engines and so forth for Creative Commons media. So those are on Blackboard and also on the slide on the screen right now. Go there, and these are places where you can find media assets to be able to use in your projects in this class and beyond. Now, we're going to have two assignments this week concerning Creative Commons and copyright. The first one is a discussion, and this is where we're going to talk about the 6 Creative Commons licenses. Now, what I want you to do is pick one of the 6 Creative Commons licenses and start a thread that includes the name of that license that you chose. Describe the license and talk about how it differs from copyright and public domain. And then finally, I want you to find an example of something that's released with that particular Creative Commons license. Okay, so there's more information on Blackboard, but that's the gist of what we're getting at with this discussion. Very similar to what we did last week with the introduction discussions. There's also another video that I'm going to link to from the class. It's a YouTube video that talks about Creative Commons license and how this works. So you should definitely take a look at that as well. It'll be helpful for both the discussion assignment and what is our big assignment for the week, which is the license violation assignment. So in Blackboard, you're going to find that. And to prepare for this assignment, you should read through all the Creative Commons descriptions and so forth on their website, and also look through the other links and videos that I've provided from this lecture and on Blackboard. Search for examples of license violation. This can be either copyright or Creative Commons. I don't care. Pick either one. These issues come up in the news all the time, so you shouldn't have any problem at all finding examples. When you find a good example, I want you to describe how the license was violated, what the license was, obviously, and how it was violated, and what was done by the rights holders about that violation. Like, what did they do when their work was violated, when the license was violated in this way? And then finally, I want to hear your thoughts. I want to know what you think about whether or not the reaction by the rights holder was justified and equal to the damage done by that violation. Write all this up in about a one-page paper and submit it to Blackboard. If you have any questions about any of this, please feel free to email me or email me early. That's always going to give you a better chance of getting a response back in time to get the assignments in on time. That's it. Good luck.